The classroom at the Galactic Institute of Relations was quiet and cold. Long glass walls showed the stars beyond the planet, and the seats were made for many different kinds of bodies. Some seats had water. Some had thick cushions. Some were just empty spaces for creatures that did not need to sit. Professor walked into the room carrying something that made the students tense. It was a containment field, and inside it was a small animal. The creature had orange and black stripes. Its eyes were sharp and green. It was a tiger cub from Earth. Even though it was young, it looked dangerous. The students came from many different species. There was a with thin blue skin and long fingers. There was a with a body like a jellyfish that could change shape. There was an with hard purple skin. And there were others, but only one student was human. His name was. He sat in the back row and watched the professor with a calm face. His body was tall and thin. He had 4 arms and antennae on top of his head. He had taught at the institute for many years. He knew about many species, but he was afraid of Earth creatures. Everyone was. Earth was called it was a planet where almost everything could kill you. Today, said his voice loud and clear, we will learn about the creatures of Earth. This is a tiger cub. On Earth, tigers are apex predators. They hunt other animals to eat. They are fast. They are strong. They have sharp teeth and claws. This cub is young, but it still has the nature of its species. It is dangerous. The students leaned back in their seats, pulled her thin body away from the containment field, made a small sound like water moving. Moved closer to the students. Humans come from this. They live with creatures like this. They live with many dangerous animals. This is why humans are different from all of us. Their world has made them strong. It has made them ready to fight. This is also why the Galactic Council fears them. A species that comes from such a harsh world cannot be trusted with power. Did not move. He listened but said nothing. Today we will watch this cub, continued. We will see its behavior. We will understand what a true apex predator acts like. Then all of you will understand why humans are so dangerous. Reached for a button on the containment field. He wanted to open it a little, just enough for the students to see the tiger better, but something went wrong. The button was broken, or maybe pushed it too hard with one of his 4 hands. The containment field died. It made a sound like electricity stopping. The orange light around the cub went dark. The tiger cub did not understand what happened. It did not know where it was. It smelled strange things. It heard strange sounds. The voices of the alien students were not like the sounds it knew. The room was cold and hard. There were no trees. There was no mother. There was only fear. The cub opened its mouth and let out a sound. It was not a real roar. It was too young for that. It was a growl mixed with a cry. It wanted to find safety. It wanted to find its mother. It did not want to hurt anything. It just wanted to know where it was. But the students did not understand this. They only heard a dangerous sound from a creature. The tiger cub lunged. Its legs pushed hard against the floor. It ran toward the nearest student. She screamed. Her long blue fingers shook. She tried to run, but she was afraid and her feet tangled. Security, yelled. His antennae stood up straight. Get the containment field, get help. The other students ran in different ways. Some ran to the doors. Some tried to climb into the high places. Changed his body to be thin and hard so he could fit behind a seat. Made his skin even harder, ready to fight. Alarms started to sound in the building. The tiger cub was running toward. She was on the ground now, her hands up in front of her face. She was crying with sounds that hurt to hear. Then stood up. He did not run, he did not yell. He just stood and looked at the cub. His face was calm. His body was still. He watched the way the tiger ran. He watched the way it moved. Walked toward the cub, not toward the cub. No, yelled. Move away, that is an apex predator. Did not listen to the professor. He just kept walking. His steps were slow and even. His breathing was quiet. The tiger cub saw move. It stopped running toward. The cub was confused. This human was not running. This human was not afraid. This was something the cub did not expect. Kneeled down on the floor, he kneeled slowly. He was making himself smaller. He was showing the cub that he was not a threat. He put his hands open in front of him. No claws, no weapons, just hands. The tiger cub walked toward. Its tail was low. Its ears were back. It was scared, but it was curious. Did not reach out to grab. He just waited. The cub came closer. Its nose touched his hand. The cub could smell earth on this human. It could smell something it knew. The cub made a small sound, a growl that was not angry. It was a sound of a young animal that was lost and afraid. Made a sound back. It was not words. It was a soft, gentle sound. It was the sound a mother makes to a scared child. The cub's ears came forward, its tail lifted a little. "Easy," said. His voice was very quiet. "Easy, little one, you are okay, you are safe." He reached out his hand slowly, so slowly that the cub could see every movement. The cub did not run away. The cub stayed. His hand touched the cub's head. His fingers moved soft through the orange fur. The tiger cub's eyes closed, its growl stopped. The classroom was silent. Even the alarm seemed far away. Stood frozen, stopped crying, came back to his normal shape. Made high after the incident, the classroom was locked down. Security guards came in with weapons. They were ready to kill the tiger cub, but did not move. He just held the animal against his chest and told them to stand down. "The cub is not dangerous," said. "Look at it, it is just a baby. It is scared and far from home, that is all." The security guards did not know what to do. They looked at each other. They looked at Professor, gave the order to lower their weapons. He still did not understand what had happened, but he knew that the cub was not going to hurt anyone, not as long as held it. The next day called into his office. The office was big and empty. There were windows that looked out at the stars. The professor sat behind a desk that was shaped for his body, sat in a chair that had been built for human shape. "I do not understand what you did," said. His antennae moved back and forth. This was a sign that he was troubled. "The tiger is an apex predator. You should have been afraid. You should have tried to run. Instead, you walked toward it. How is that possible?" Looked at the professor. He was a young man with brown skin and dark hair. His eyes were kind but strong. "On Earth," he said, "we live with apex predators all the time. Wolves, bears, lions, tigers. Humans hunt them, but we also live near them. We understand them." "Understand them?" Leaned forward. "How can you understand a creature that wants to kill you?" "A creature does not want to kill for the sake of killing," said. His voice was calm and clear. "A creature kills to eat. A creature kills to protect itself or its young. A creature does not kill because of hate. That is something only some species do." Thought about this, his antennae slowed down. "That cub was not trying to hurt anyone," continued. "It was confused, it was scared. It did not know where it was, it did not know what you were. When I saw that it was not attacking with hate, I knew I could approach it without danger." "But it was growling," said. "It was running toward my student." "It was running toward something that moved," said. "A scared animal will run from movement. It will chase movement. The cub was not hunting. If it was hunting, it would move different. It would be quiet. It would watch. It was just a lost baby making noise because it was afraid." Stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at the stars. "Every lesson I have taught about humans has been based on the idea that you are creatures of violence, that you come from a harsh world and that harsh world has made you hard. But what you did yesterday was not hard. It was soft. It was kind." "Those two things can be true at the same time," said. "Humans are both. We come from a world that is hard and mean. We have to be strong to live there. But we also take care of our bobbies. We help our old people. We keep animals that are not useful to us. We do this because we are made to care for things." Turned back from the window. "I have been teaching that humans should be feared, but yesterday I saw something different. I saw a human protecting something weaker than itself. I saw compassion. Why would a creature from a have compassion?" Stood up and walked to the window, too. He looked out at the same stars. "Because it teaches you that life is hard. Every moment is hard. So when you find something that is not trying to hurt you, you protect it. You keep it alive. Because you know what it is like to be hurt. You know what it is like to be afraid." They stood together in silence for a moment. The cub said, "What will happen to the cub?" "I do not know," said, "but I want to keep it. If you will let me, I want to raise it. I want to show this galaxy what a human and a creature can be together." Looked at the young human. There was no fear there was no anger. There was just kindness and a desire to help. "I will speak to the council," said. "I will ask them to let you keep the cub, but first I would like for you to come to my classroom again. I would like for you to teach the students what you taught me. I would like for them to understand what you understand." The next class was full. News had spread about what happened. Students from other species had come to watch. The room was more crowded than usual. Came in with the tiger cub. The cub was calm. It walked next to like it had known him for years. Its tail moved back and forth. Stood in front of the students. "Today," he said, "we will learn the truth about humans. We'll teach you." Sat on the floor. The cub sat next to him. He began to speak. On Earth, my home, there are animals that can kill you with one bite. There are storms that can destroy everything you build. There is cold that can freeze you. There is heat that can burn you. Every day on Earth is a fight to stay alive. But humans do not just survive on Earth. Humans help each other survive. We make families. We help animals. We raise the young of creatures that are not even human. He put his hand on the cub's head. The cub purred. This cub comes from my world. It is an apex predator. In the wild, it would hunt and kill, but here it is just a baby. It is just an animal that is lost and scared. And what I do is I help it, I calm it. I show it that not everything in this galaxy wants to hurt it. That is what humans do. That is who we are. A student raised a hand. It was of a species that looked like tall birds with wings. Are you saying that humans are not dangerous? They asked. No, said. Humans are dangerous, very dangerous. We can hurt things, we can kill things, but we can also choose not to. We have the strength to kill and we have the kindness to not use it. That is the real power of humans. We have both sides inside us. The who had been scared the day before raised her hand. When the cub came toward me, she said, I was terrified. I thought I was going to die, but you helped it. You made it calm. How did you know it would not hurt you? Looked at the cub. The cub looked back at him. Its eyes were calm and full of trust. I did not know for sure, said, but I had to try, because if I did not try, this cub would die. The security team would have killed it, and it did not deserve to die. It did not do anything wrong. It was just scared. He looked around the room at all the alien faces watching him. That is what I want you to understand. Humans will face danger. Humans will stand between a threat and something weaker. We will do this because we are strong enough to do it. And strength means the choice to protect, not just the choice to kill. The classroom was quiet. The students understood something now. They understood that there was more to humans than just violence. There was a choice in humans, a choice to be kind even when they could be cruel. Professor felt his antennae lower in a gesture of respect. He had been wrong. This human student had just taught him something that years of study had not taught him. The tiger cub purred in its lap. And for the first time in the Galactic Institute of Relations, the story of what happened in Professor's classroom spread fast through the Institute. It spread faster than could have imagined. Within 2 days, news feeds across the planet were talking about the human student who had calmed a beast with kindness. Some called it a miracle, some called it a trick, some called it proof that humans could not be trusted. But the students at the Institute wanted to know the truth. They wanted to explain what he had done and why. So organized a special meeting in the main hall of the Institute. The main hall was huge. It could hold 500 people. On the day of the meeting, it was almost full. There were students from all the different species. There were teachers. There were workers from the Institute. And in the back, sitting quiet and still, were 3 members of the Galactic Council. They had come to listen. Walked into the hall with the tiger cub on a leash. The cub was calm. It had already become used to the sounds and smells of the Institute. It had become used to the strange-looking creatures that lived here. As long as was near, the cub was at peace. Professor stood up. Thank you all for coming, he said. His voice was loud and strong. We are here because something happened that we do not understand. A human student responded to a dangerous situation in a way that we did not expect. We have many questions, so I have asked to answer them for us. All eyes turned to. He stood in the middle of the hall. The cub sat next to him. He looked at the faces around him. Some were kind, some were angry, some were just curious. I know that many of you are afraid, said. His voice was not loud, but everyone heard him. You have been taught that humans are dangerous. You have been taught that we come from a harsh world and that harsh world has made us killers. That is true, but it is not the whole truth. He paused. The hall was silent. Earth is harsh, he continued. It is a planet where many things want to kill you. There are animals that hunt. There are storms that destroy. There is sickness. There is hunger. A human has to be strong to live on Earth. A human has to be able to fight. A human has to be able to kill to survive. That is true. But because Earth is so harsh, humans also had to learn something else. In the front row raised his hand. What else could you learn from a harsh world, only to be harsh in return? No, said. We learned to work together. We learned that a single human cannot survive alone on Earth. A human needs a family. A human needs other humans, so we learned to help each other. We learned to care for the weak. We learned that a strong human protects a weak human. That is the law of human life. He walked a few steps across the stage. The cub walked with him. When I was a child on Earth, I lived in a small house with my parents and my sister. My sister was smaller than me and weaker than me, but she was my sister, so I protected her. If another child tried to hurt her, I would fight that child. But if she was scared, I would hold her. If she was hungry, I would give her food from my plate. That is what family means to humans. And stood up. Her skin was green and her eyes were like crystals. But the cub is not your family. The cub is a creature from your world that you had never met before that day. That is true, said. But humans have learned to see family in other ways. We do not have family only with other humans. We have learned to care for animals. On Earth, humans keep many animals as friends. We call them pets. We feed them. We protect them. We help them when they are sick. A human will die to protect an animal that it loves. He kneeled down and put his hand on the cub's head. The cub purred. This cub was scared. It was alone. It was far from everything it knew. In that moment, it did not matter to me that the cub could hurt me. It did not matter that it was a dangerous creature. It only mattered that the cub needed help, and humans are made to help things that need help. Raised a tentacle. Is this a weakness? Is this why the Galactic Council fears humans? Because humans will die to help creatures that do not matter. Looked at some would say it is a weakness, but I say it is our greatest strength. Think about this. A soldier who fights for gold or for power can be beaten. That soldier will run away if the fight becomes too hard. But a soldier who fights to protect someone he loves will fight to the end. He will never give up. He will never run away. That is the strength that Earth has given humans, the strength to care about something more than ourselves. The three members of the Galactic Council were listening very carefully now. One of them was a tall being made of energy held together by will. One was a creature with many eyes that could see all things. One was a being that was very old and very wise. The stood up, he moved slow as all ancient beings move. I have lived for 10,000 years, he said. I have seen many species. I have seen ones that are cruel. I have seen ones that are kind. I have seen ones that are strong. I have seen ones that are weak. But I have never seen a species that is both strong and kind at the same time. Humans seem to be this. Is this true? Looked at the ancient being. Yes, he said. On Earth, to survive, you must be strong, but to live, you must be kind. A human who is only strong becomes a monster. A human who is only kind dies, so we become both. We are warriors and we are nurses. We are hunters and we are parents. We can kill our enemies and love our children. That is the gift that Earth has given us. We are balance. A young student, like the one who had spoken in the classroom, stood up. Does this mean that you will never hurt us, that humans will protect us? Shook his head. No, I cannot promise that. There are humans who are cruel, there are humans who hurt others, but most humans, the ones that are taught right, will choose to protect the weak. We will choose to help. We are made that way. He looked around the hall. I know that many of you fear humans. You think we will come to the galaxy and take over. You think we will use our strength to rule over you. That is a true fear. A species that can fight as well as humans could do those things. But I am telling you that most humans do not want to do those things. We want to live. We want to have families. We want to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We want to help. The with many eyes was watching. Its eyes moved in all directions at the same time. You are speaking from your own experience, it said. But what about the humans that are different? What about the humans that do not have this balance? There are humans like that, said. And they are wrong, they are broken, just like there are broken members of every species. A broken human can do bad things, that is true. But a human that is fixed, that is taught right, that understands what it means to come from that human will be kind. He picked up the tiger cub. He held it against his chest. This cub has claws that can cut. This cub has teeth that can bite. This cub can be dangerous. But in my hands it is safe and happy, because I have chosen to be gentle with it. That is what humans can do. We can take the most dangerous things and treat them with kindness. We can take creatures that were news of and the tiger cub spread across the entire galaxy. News feeds on 1,000 different worlds showed the same video over and over. A human holding a dangerous creature from Earth. A human laughing at the cub's tiny growl. A human treating an apex predator like it was a small child. Some of the news stories called it amazing. Some called it stupid. Some called it proof that humans were too weak to be a threat. But the Galactic Council took it seriously. They sent 3 more of their members to the Institute. They wanted to study. They wanted to understand if what he had done meant something big about all humans. The council members did not hide who they were. They wore their formal clothes. Their guards stood outside the classrooms. They watched in every moment of his day. They watched him sleep. They watched him eat. They watched him play with the tiger cub. And the cub had been given a name, called him Leo. One day, the Who Was Wise asked to meet with alone. They sat in a small room with no windows. The room was made for many kinds of bodies. The sat in a chair that could hold his ancient form, sat across from him. Your species is very young, the said. His voice was like the sound of wind through old trees. Humans have only been in space for a few years, yet you have already changed how we see ourselves. Do you understand what that means? Did not answer right away. He thought about the question. No, he said finally, I do not know what it means. It means, the said, that we have been wrong about many things. We have believed that strength is the only thing that matters, that power is everything, that a species should be judged by what it can destroy. But you have shown us something different. You have shown us that how you treat the weak matters too, that kindness is a form of strength. The moved one of his old hands. I have lived for 10,000 years. I have seen empires rise. I have seen them fall. I have seen wars that killed billions, and I have never understood why we fight. But now I think I understand. We fight because we do not know how to care for each other like you care for the cub. We do not know how to be strong and gentle at the same time. That is what Earth teaches you, said. You have to be both or you will not live. Yes, the said. I think that is right. And that is why the Council is afraid of humans, not because you are strong. We have many strong species. We are afraid because you are strong and kind. That is a kind of power we do not understand, a power that can create peace instead of war. He leaned forward. The Council has made a decision. We will invite more humans to join the Galactic Federation. We will invite humans to be teachers. We will invite humans to help us build a better galaxy, but only if you believe this is right. What do you say? Thought about his home on Earth. He thought about his family. He thought about all the humans who wanted to explore the stars. Yes, he said. I believe this is right. Humans want to help. Humans want to be part of the galaxy, but we do not want to change the galaxy through force. We want to change it through understanding. They made a sound that meant he was happy. Then there is one more thing. The Council wants you to stay at the Institute. They want you to teach here. They want you to show other species what it means to be human. Will you do this? Looked down at his hands. I will, but only if I can keep Leo. The smiled. There were not many times in 10,000 years that he smiled, but he smiled now. Leo has become important to this institute. He has become a symbol of what is possible. Of course, you can keep him. He is yours. The news that the Galactic Council had changed their view of humans spread even faster than the first news. Some species celebrated. Some were angry. But the change had been made. Humans would be part of the greater galaxy now. Humans would be teachers and leaders, not slaves or enemies. Became busy after that. He taught classes. He spoke to groups from other planets. He traveled to different worlds to help species understand humans better. But Leo was always with him. Leo had grown from a small cub to a larger young tiger. He was still gentle with. He was still kind to the students who came to learn from him. But he had also become strong. His teeth were bigger. His claws were sharper. He could be very dangerous if he wanted to be. But he never wanted to be. Leo had learned from what it meant to be strong and kind at the same time. The young tiger had learned that the strongest choice is often the choice to be gentle. One day, a delegation came from another world. There were a species that had never trusted anyone. They had been at war with many other species. They were hard and cold, and they believed that only power mattered. The delegation came to the Institute to see and Leo for themselves. They did not believe the stories. They thought it was a trick. When they saw Leo, they were shocked. They saw a creature that was made for killing, that had the power to kill, but that chose to live in peace. Leo lay next to and let the touch him. The cub purred. They had never heard such a sound before. An old warrior began to cry. His face became wet with tears. He touched Leo's head very gently. I have spent my whole life fighting, he said. His voice was broken. I have killed many things. I have believed that this was the only way to live, but this creature shows me that I was wrong. There is another way. Leo looked at the old with his green eyes. The young tiger had not judged the for being a killer. The tiger had not been afraid. The tiger had only seen a being that needed kindness. Put his hand on the old's shoulder. It is never too late to change, he said. Leo shows us that. He could be a killer, but he chose to be kind instead. Any of us can make that choice. Any of us can decide to be better than what we were. The old looked at, will you teach us? Will you help us learn how to be like Leo? Yes, said, that is why I am here. That night sat in the courtyard of the Institute with Leo. He looked up at the stars. There were 1,000 worlds out there, 1,000 species. Most of them had been afraid of humans, but now they were starting to understand. Humans had come to the galaxy not with weapons, but with Leo, with a symbol of what was possible, with proof that strength and kindness could live together. Leo purred next to. The young tiger was at peace, and for the first time it seemed like the galaxy might be at peace too. In the distance could see other students coming to sit in the courtyard, and 5 years had passed since the day when the tiger cub escaped from the containment field. 5 years since had shown the galaxy that humans were different from what they thought. The Institute had changed. The galaxy had changed, and had changed too. He was no longer just a student. He was now a full teacher at the Institute. His classroom was the biggest one in the building. Students from 100 different worlds came to learn from him. They came to understand what it meant to be human. On this day stood in front of a new class of students. There were beings that floated like smoke. There were creatures with hard shells. There were species that communicated through color changes in their skin. They all sat together and waited to learn. Leo was with, as he always was. The young tiger was no longer small. He was a full-grown tiger now. His body was strong and muscular. His teeth were sharp and his claws could tear through metal. But his eyes were still kind. His heart was still gentle. Leo lay at its feet and closed his eyes. The tiger was happy. "Before I tell you about what we will learn this year," said, "I want to tell you about the old lessons, about what you have been told before you came to my classroom." He walked back and forth in front of the students. "Many of you have been taught that humans are dangerous, that we come from and that has made us killers, that we cannot be trusted, that we will take over if we are given power. That teaching is wrong, and I am here to tell you why." The students listened. Some of them had come because they feared humans. Some had come because they were curious. Some had come because the council had said they should come, but all of them wanted to know the truth. "It is true that humans come from a harsh world," said. "It is true that we are strong, we can fight, we can kill. We can do things that would kill other creatures, but this is not because humans are evil. This is because Earth is harsh. To live on Earth, you must be strong, you must be able to fight, you must be able to survive." He pointed to Leo. "But look at Leo. Leo is an apex predator from Earth. Leo could kill most of you in seconds, but what does Leo do? Leo sleeps peacefully next to me. Leo trusts me. Leo has learned that strength is not about killing. Strength is about choosing what to do with power." A young in the front row raised her hand. "Is Leo special? Is Leo different from other tigers?" "Leo is special," said, "but not because he is a different kind of tiger. Leo is special because someone taught him kindness. I raised Leo to understand that he had choices. Leo could be cruel, but he chose to be kind instead, and that choice made Leo happy." He sat down on the floor. The students leaned forward to listen. "This is what humans learn on Earth. We learn that the greatest power is not the power to destroy. The greatest power is the power to create, the power to build, the power to help, the power to love. A human who destroys things is just a killer, but a human who builds things, who makes things better, that human is respected, that human is remembered." I made a sound like water moving. "But what about human wars? What about the times when humans killed other humans?" "That is true," said. "Humans have wars. Humans have killed other humans. That is a bad part of human history. But do you know what is important? Humans have also learned from their wars. Humans have decided to make peace. Humans have created laws that say war is not always the answer. Not all species have done this. Many species are always at war, but humans have chosen to try for peace." He stood up and walked to a big window. The students could see the stars through the window. "Every human that comes to the galaxy now comes with a choice," said. "That choice is to show you who we really are. Not killers, not invaders, but teachers, helpers, friends. We come to build. We come to work with other species. We come to make the galaxy better." An old with purple skin stood up. "But what if other humans do not make that choice? What if some humans come and cause trouble?" "That is possible," said. "I cannot promise that every human will be good. I cannot promise that some humans will not cause harm, but I can promise this. The humans who are taught by me, the humans who understand what I am teaching, those humans will choose kindness. Those humans will choose to help. Those humans will understand that our strength is not what makes us special. Our kindness is what makes us special." The bell rang, the class was over, but the students did not leave. They wanted to stay and listen more. "Next class," said. We will talk about human families. We will talk about why humans care so much about taking care of their young. We will talk about why humans have such strong feelings about their friends. These things are important. These things are what make humans who we are. The students finally left. Leo opened his eyes and stood up, put his hand on the tiger's head. "We are making a difference," said to Leo. "Can you feel it?" Leo purred. The sound was loud and warm. 3 weeks later was called to a formal meeting with the Galactic Council. The council sat in a big room that was older than many civilizations. The walls showed the history of the galaxy. The walls showed wars and peace. The walls showed the rise and fall of many empires. The sat in the middle. He was older now, even for someone who was 10,000 years old, but his eyes were still bright. The said, "The council has voted on a new law. We want you to hear it before anyone else." The other council members made sounds of agreement. "From this day forward," the said, "all species will be taught about humans. All species will learn that strength and kindness can live together. All species will learn that a creature made for killing can choose instead to help. And this lesson will be taught by humans like you. This will be the new law of the galaxy." Could not speak for a moment. His eyes became wet with tears. "What you have done," the continued, "has changed everything. 10 years ago, the Council was ready to keep humans out of the galaxy. We feared you. We believed you would take over, but you showed us, Leo. You showed us yourself, and you showed us that we were wrong. Humans are not what we feared. Humans are what we needed." "Thank you," said. This is more than I hoped for." "Do not thank us yet," the said. "You have much work to do. You will need to train many teachers. You will need to travel to many worlds. You will need to change the minds of species that have hated humans for a long time. Can you do this?" "Yes," said, "I can do this, Leo, and I will do this." The smiled again. "Then go, change the galaxy, show them what humans can be." Years passed, traveled to hundreds of worlds. Leo traveled with him. They became known as the harbingers of hope. Species that had never trusted each other began to work together. Wars were prevented, peace was made. And it had all started with a tiger cub and a young human who understood that the strongest choice is often the choice to be kind. In the courtyard of the Institute, where it all began, there was now a statue. The statue showed holding Leo, and beneath the statue was written words in many languages. All the languages said the same thing. Strength is not measured by the power to destroy. Strength is measured by the choice to protect. Strength is measured by the choice to love. This is the gift that humans have given to the galaxy. This is what we will remember. Stood in front of the statue one day. Leo stood next to him. The tiger was old now, but still alive, still strong, still kind. "We did it," Leo said. "We changed the galaxy." Leo purred. In that purr was the sound of 1,000 worlds finding peace. In that purr was the sound of enemies becoming friends. In that purr was the sound of the galaxy learning that kindness is the greatest strength of all. The stars shone above them, and on 1,000 different worlds, students in classrooms were learning about humans. They were learning that a creature from a harsh world could be gentle. They were learning that the strongest choice is often the choice to help. They were learning what it meant to balance strength with kindness. And somewhere in a small classroom at the Institute, a young human teacher was holding a young creature from another world. That young human was teaching it kindness. And the creature, which had been made for killing, was learning instead to love. The cycle continued, the lessons spread, and the galaxy became better. Not because humans came with weapons, but because one human came with a tiger cub, and the human hugged the cub, and the human laughed at its tiny growl, and in that moment everything changed. And many others, they came to sit with and Leo. They came to learn, they came to hope that they too could be strong and kind at the same time. The future was uncertain. There would be challenges. There would be species that did not want to change. But on this night in the courtyard of the Institute, there was peace. And it had all started with a human who hugged a beast and laughed at its tiny growl. Made to kill and turn them into friends. The tiger cub purred. Its eyes were closed. It felt safe. The hall was silent for a long moment. Then they began to move his hands in a gesture of respect. The other council members did the same. Then the teachers began. Then the students. Soon the entire hall was making sounds of respect. They understood now. Humans were not monsters. Humans were not angels. Humans were something new to the galaxy. Humans were creatures that had learned to balance strength with kindness, and that was something the galaxy needed. as a real understanding of what humanity meant. As skin soft again, all the students watched. None of them could believe what they were seeing. Kept his hand on the cub's head. He spoke in that same soft voice. You came a long way from home, did you not? You are far from the sun and the grass and the sounds you know, but you are safe now. You are safe with me. The tiger cub moved closer too. It put its small head against chest. And then it did something that no one expected. It started to purr. The sound came from deep in the cub's body. It was a sound of peace. It was a sound of trust. Smiled, and he laughed, not a mean laugh, a laugh of joy and relief. He held the little tiger against his body, and he laughed at its tiny growl that had turned into a purr. Professor stood in the middle of the classroom and realized that everything he thought he knew about humans was wrong.